good morning.
You're welcome to News Flow 247. At the beginning of this month, Simon Nepal have been making some declaration about the shutting down of everything concerning government, Nigeria government in the southeast. But it seems the direction is not effective. Maybe I'm not correct. Well, what is happening in the southeast?
You are not correct.
Okay.
The direction, the observation, the lockdown is being effective since its inception last week. Everything in the southeast is down. As I'm talking to you, and the people that are violating it are taking big risk of their life. See, the best thing to do in life is when you see people doing something, if you're a stranger, if you're not a stranger, it is majority that carries the vote. If 70% of that people are doing that thing, join them. If it is 10%, be very, very careful if you don't join, but be very, very observant. So people that are observers within that context, I don't think they are falling into any temptation or dangers in the southeast. Among all things, the most important thing is life. That's what God says. When you have God, life, then food, you carry on in life. When something is happening that you see that this thing can take your life, be very, very proactive, very, very careful. Know how you handle that thing. Because some persons that are disrespecting that lockdown order, I think they are seeing different things entirely.
Actually, the lockdown that the man was talking about is not the ordinary citizens. He's talking about the locking down of every government.
The whole government interest in the southeast are down. State interest, state government interests are down. Local government as well. The whole federal government interest, where federal government is getting funds, revenue generation sources in the east central states of Nigeria, especially the 5 Igbo states, they are all down. That lockdown, Igbo man respects it so much. They don't violate it, they don't go contrary to it. They are always keeping it to avoid trouble. See, during the lockdown, they are not doing it to kill anybody. During the lockdown, they are not doing it to abuse anybody. They are doing it, they are using it as tools to fight government of the day. Because they find out that there are government interests in the southeast actually. There are many oil companies, agencies there. There are other public institutions controlled by federal government of Nigeria. So those are the affected federal structures. Those structures that are federal there have been affected.
Like military.
They are the interest I'm talking about. Okay, look at the security apparatus of that. Let me say the security agencies. They are affected too. Because we can't tell you that everywhere is just down. We expect police to come out. If they're coming out, they're on their own.
You mean the military barracks?
The military barracks, all of them, most of them are in. Some of them comes out as well because they believe that they are the law enforcement agencies. But you can see, which law are you enforcing there? The owners of the land, the indigenous of the lands, they say no, that they won't come out. Can you force them to come out? If you are a governor, you want to force the indigenous out. Why not force your family out? Force your wife and children out. After all, you have wife and children. Force them out.
There is no activities in the government house.
No activities in the government house. None of them. All the government interests in the southeast is locked.
In Anambra,
everywhere in Igbo land.
There's no government activities.
No government activities everywhere in Igbo land.
Thank you.
Everywhere.
Let me quickly use this one to round it up. It is a common saying that Igbo people are being marginalized. When do you think this marginalization started? Because when Jonathan was there, the song of marginalization is not that loud. I think it was started during Buhari. Was it Buhari that started it, or the marginalization has been there for a long time?
No, marginalization has been there for a very long time, but it was not so pronounced. It became so pronounced from 2023 down to 2015 when Buhari, won an election in 2015. He he actually gave appointment up to 96 positions to Fulanis. And if you could study carefully what happened in 2015, Yorubas were not so much concerned about those appointments because they believe that the vice president is from their region. When the vice president is from your region, the rest of 96 federal appointments were given to the Fulanis. We are all affected. Yes, we are all affected.
Thank you for saying that.
We are all affected. It affected Yoruba, it affected Igbo. But what we are seeing currently, Tinubu gave appointment to his people, some Hausas and some Igbos. Then again, the marginalization that is so pronounced now was that actually Tinubu's mandate he's enjoying now belongs to an Igbo man. That's why we can say this one is hyper, super marginalization. Because it was obvious that Yoruba man did not vote for Tinubu. Actually, Yoruba man did not vote for him. Hausa, Mid-Belt, Igbo man, Efik Ibibio, the Bini, everybody, nobody voted for Tinubu. They unanimously voted for Obi. I mean, all these ethnicities I named. They voted for Obi. But Tinubu, APC, the ruling party, they used their federal might, the federal might of the government of the then administration of Buhari, to marginalize Igbo, rob Igbo, disenfranchise Igbo, and deny Obi his mandate. So what I'm trying to say is marginalization started very long time ago, but it was so mild. The military, they did it with competence. I could remember when Babangida was here, when Abacha was here, when Gowon was here as head of state. Hausa man can rule in Anambra, rule in southwestern state. Yoruba man can rule in southeast, rule in north. Igbo man can rule in southwest, rule in north. They use them as military governors or administrators. They mix it up well. You find out that they, the military, are more civilized than the civilian government.
I could remember Anthony Udofia.
Thank you.
He was a former administrator in Osun State.
Thank you. I could remember Onwe Bulam, former minister administrator of Ondo State and Edo State. I don't know what I understand. So the military, they did well. They proved actually that the civilians in Nigeria are not more civilized than the military. So then when it came to civil, political, what do you call it? Civilian rules, civil administration, they just did it in a way that in favor only their regions. So that's why it is too pronounced. I mean, marginalization of the Igbos. Obi won election last year. It was actually the Nigerian people, the Nigerian ethnicities, but Fulani stopped it. Being that Fulani is the major trouble we have in Nigeria, by the time we start to understand that Fulani is our issue, we can never go to anywhere. By the time we understand that our common enemy is the Fulanis, we will still be going down, drifting down to the mud. It is when we come out to fight our common enemy that we are going to unite as a country. But what I'm trying to say is that, come what may, marginalization either stay, marginalization either stop. Igbo man is not interested in anything in Nigeria. Because when you cannot allow Igbo man to live, when you cannot allow Igbo man to rule, when you cannot allow Igbo man to be part of in government, the only thing is allow Igbo man to go. And this time around, we don't want anybody to allow us to go. We are going, whether you like it or not. Prime Minister of Biafra in exile is doing his consultation too well. I don't understand. Having meetings, having many signagizing with countries to make sure that Igbo man Biafra emancipates. Thank you.
Thank you very much.